Hey everyone, it's Teresa, and I am so excited today. I am going to be sharing some of the basics of Chalk Couture with you, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Oh, I can't even tell you how excited I am about the new stuff that is coming out. I went and saw some of it in person. It is amazing, and I have some to show you at towards the end of the video. And on February 8th, I am also going to be going and putting a video up of all the new stuff coming out on February 8th. I cannot wait. So let's get into it. So on today's video, we're going to do a little something different. I'm going to show you kind of the basic of Chalk Couture. If you are brand new to it, thinking about getting into it, have any questions about it, it's kind of a good thing to talk about if that's interesting to you. If not, I'll catch you guys in my next video, and that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to show you kind of the basic idea of this. Now, Chalk Couture makes lots of different surfaces. These are just a couple examples of them. Some of them, like these ones, are reusable. You can wipe them off and clean it. I'll show you how to do that on one of these boards in just a minute. Or some of them are more of their one-time use ones. Now, technically, you could clean this off and sand it down, paint it, whatever, and use it again. Now this little guy is the board and base. This comes all together in a package. They're very reasonably priced. Great thing to use when you're first getting started if you have never used chalk before. I'm going to show you how I am going to just do a really simple project using one of our A-size transfers on the board and base. So first thing you're going to want to do with your transfer is obviously to take it out of the package. Now this is an easy way to store them, is to keep this little baggie to keep them and keep them safe, keep them clean, all of that. So now what a Chalk Couture transfer is a stencil essentially, but it's a little different in that all of the area that you see that is white is a screen. It's called a silk screen transfer or silk screen stencil. Now what you may notice here is there's little bits of green in that writing. Chalk Couture does that a lot where they're actually giving you some like built-in distressing. So what we will do first is we're going to peel our transfer from the backer. Keep this. If it's what you want to make sure you do, just kind of hide it away somewhere so you can remember where it is. You'll want to store it back on the backer. You're then going to apply your transfer onto your fuzzing cloth. If you do not have a fuzzing cloth, you can use a terry cloth towel. It will work just as well. We're going to apply it on here. Usually pick like different spots here on the towel. A few times, that's 3. We'll probably do about 4 or 5. This is my first time using this one. Depending on how much stick you have on your transfer, that'll kind of depend on how many times you stick it to that. You can test it out, kind of see how easy it is. It comes off easily enough. And on this board and base, I'm going to be putting it in this more vertical direction, or portrait. And so I'm going to leave some space at the bottom. We're just going to line that up somewhere. That looks good. Once you get it lined up, now you can always pick it up and move it. It's so different than if you see, like, watch, I could just pick it up and move it. And it slides through, you can arrange it. You have a lot more time and a lot more, you have a lot more play with it than you would if it was like vinyl and if you were using a Cricut. Nothing against Cricut, it is just a different tool. You're going to smooth it down, making sure that you don't have any air bubbles in there. Once you are done, you're going to then apply your chalk paste. They also make a substance called ink that is made more for your porous, like fabric or ceramic or things like that that you want to be permanent. Now you can make your chalk designs permanent by sealing it just like you would if it was paint. I'm going to be using the color Eucalyptus and the color Shimmer Frost. You can do obviously these in one color, multiple colors, however you want to do this design, you're welcome to do that. All right, I'm gonna start off with my shimmer frost. The shimmers are with like a very fine little bit of glitter in there. It gives a really pretty look, a really pretty design. And on this, I am actually going to take out my little half. One thing you can do on these little mini squeegees is you can make them even smaller by just cutting them in half with a pair of scissors. Easy as that. I'm going to dip into my paste and I'm going to start applying it. I'm going to apply this part up here and this part in the writing. It's pretty easy. You just smudge it on as if you were buttering a piece of toast. Now with your shimmers, I like to give them kind of like a second pass, and I already got a little messed up. That's okay. I like to give them a little bit of like a second pass over just to make sure that you get some of that glitteriness through the screen. When you're done with whatever you haven't used, just push it right back into that tub and you'll be able to use it on another project. So while these little tubs do run a little bit more in cost, you're really not using a lot of it and it goes a long way. So I'm just going to go over that one a little bit more. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just do the wording. Again, see, you just wipe away off what you don't need. You're going to pull it all the way across. Try not to leave any little spots with too much of it, because you don't want, it's basically, it's like that same, the same idea as most thing with like painting. You don't want too much, you don't want too little. It's going to leave behind almost like, not even so much a texture, but you're going to be able to see it where you applied it if you don't pull up what you don't need. Once that's done, I'm going to just put that away. Close up my jar. And now I'm going to go in with my eucalyptus. This one I'm going to use see now I'm testing it out and it's a little bit too thick. So what I will do then is put a little bit of distilled water in there and give it a good stir. You want to make sure that you're using distilled water because that is going to make sure that you don't grow anything. These the chalk paste is a food safe substance. So considering that, it is going to grow, it will grow mold if you use something that is not distilled water. You don't want that. If you ever run into a jar of paste that you already have and it's got a funny smell or it's got a little bit of growth in it, let me know, or your designer if you're from another designer's page, because that should not be like that, and that means there's something actually wrong with the paste. All right, so now we've got a little bit better of consistency. You want it more like a yogurt. I am then just going to quickly, since I've had that other one sitting on there for a little while, go over my little mountains here. And you want to pull it off to the point where you can kind of see that screen underneath. Once you can kind of see where that design is, that tells you you pulled off enough. And now what I'm going to do, because that silver up on the top, this shimmer frost has been sitting there, I'm going to do a quick little peel. I'll show you more of that on our bigger project that we're going to do. But basically all it is you're just going to, I'm going to try to clean off some of my mess, is you peel it back. See, now we're good, yeah. And I'm only going to go so far down as to where the mountain ends, and then I'll lay it back down. This one I did more recent, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. And then I'm just going to come in real quick and finish off our design. Put back our excess. Clean off our squeegee as best you can. It got a little gunky. That's okay though. Put the lid back on. And now we'll go back and peel off the rest. Cute as can be. And I'm going to show you how you clean your transfers. So typically I will do this in my sink with the water running down, but I don't really feel like moving my camera into there. So I'm going to show you how we do it here. Basically pretend like this water bottle is actually my sink. So then I'm going to take a dampened, usually it's a lot wetter than that, a little bit better. This is just my board eraser, just like I used earlier, and then I'm going to start cleaning off this transfer. Works so much better in the sink, to be really honest. But basically you just continue to clean off. It's going to just run off here because, like I said, normally I'd be in the sink doing this. And you're just going to keep wiping it off, running the water through it. In fact, I'm going to give it a quick spritz and finish that up in the sink and be right back. So clearly the transfer is still very wet. I just finished it off in the sink, and this is just a cloth that I got off of Amazon. I will list it below for you. It does not have a lot of lint to it. It is a microfiber cleaning cloth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry it off. I've got two of them. I like to put one on the tray and one I will hold and actually dry it off. You don't want to let the water sit on this transfers very long because they will, eventually wear away some of the stick. Then I'll actually do the drying on both sides. And then I store them on a drawer on a tray. I'll show you a picture here in just a second. I store them sticky side up until they're 100% dry, and then I will put them back on the backer. So again, like I said, this is one of the great surfaces that you can get from Chalk Couture because it is fairly inexpensive, very durable, and you can clean it off. I'm going to show you real quick how that works. You're just going to spritz it with some water. Now obviously you can do this in the sink. I'm not at the sink, obviously. And then we're going to just start to work on removing some of that. Chalk Couture does make a scraper. I do not have it. It is on my list of stuff to purchase. You can also use all kinds of different things though to scrape it off. This is just one of their trays. It's kind of what I have handy. Same basic idea though. And I'm gonna wipe that up with a paper towel to get the majority of that off. And then I'll spritz it again. And I'm gonna use one of our board erasers. Now they do come in a larger size. This is just a cut up one of them. It's just cut. Makes it easier for me. I think they're a little harder to manage when they are the full size. And now you are ready to chalk. So real quick, before I get into the sneak peek and special project I'm going to show you next, I wanted to let you know I am not only on YouTube, obviously, and Instagram, but I also post and participate in this Crafters Collab Facebook group. It is a lot of fun, and it's all kinds of crafts, not just Chalk Couture. It's all kinds of different things. So I'm going to leave it linked for you below in the description box. If you want to come over, answer all the questions, tell them Theresa B sent you, and we can kind of hang out over there. You can talk to me. I go on live every so often too. It's lots of fun. All right, on to our sneak peek project. I'm so excited by this one. I'm taking these little plank signs from the Dollar Tree. They have some little pumpkin cutouts on the top. I ended up just cutting those down with my miter saw. I was going to fill stuff in, put something on the bottom, yada, yada, yada. I ended up just deciding it was easier to cut them. I also did a quick little coat of some of the Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And now I am just sanding it down. I did like a kind of like a wet coating of paint, if that makes sense to you. Maybe it doesn't. Basically, I just spray down the board, spray down the paint, and apply it like a whitewash. And then I sanded it down just to make sure it was super, super smooth because we're going to chalk on it. Big surprise, right? That's why you're here. I have these adorable spring gnomes. These are new. They are coming out February 8th on my Chalk Couture site. I will have that listed, my Chalk Couture page listed for you below. But I'm also, they currently have some gnomes available. I'll link them in my link tree below. That's where all my Chalk Couture stuff is. So I've went ahead and already fuzzed it. You've already seen kind of how that works. And what I'm doing now is I'm taking some different elements, different colors, not elements, some different colors and putting it in and adding a lot more color to like this particular kind of transfer. Right now, what you see me working with is called a multi-tool. You can do lot more fine detail. You got a little bit more control than you do when you cut like this mini squeegees in half. So kind of pick and choose whether you think you're going to want to use it or not. And I'm using 3 different colors. The very first one was the color Dune. Right now I'm using the color Sage, and that really, really pretty pink color that is actually the color Shimmer Rose Gold. It's new, coming out on February 8th as well. What you just saw me do a second ago was the peel. What I do is you peel it back and then you gently place it back down, kind of like I showed you briefly in the first project. What that does is, since it does obviously dry pretty quickly, you're going to peel it up. That way it's not going to dry on top of your screen. You're going to want to do that for your larger projects, as well as you're going to want to do that for your stuff that has more detail and a lot more colors to it. Kind of like how I'm doing on this one, how I keep going back and forth between different colors. I'm trying to work from top to bottom. Sometimes it depends on the project you're doing. Sometimes it makes sense to do it from left to right, right to left, however works for you. It's going to be a little bit better off, in my opinion, for those more detailed projects. And see, I'm going to do it again. See, you can do it multiple times. I'm just going to work my way down to where I just applied. And if you end up pulling up area that hasn't gotten the paste on it yet, you just smooth it over with your finger. You'll be good to go. Otherwise, it's going to give you a very like faded effect, like some of the chalk paste gets through if it dries on the screen, on top of the screen, but in my opinion, it's best just to do the peel. And here I am applying that last little bit of the Shimmer Rose Gold. I just love this color. I want to put it on everything now. And once we do that, we're going to just do our final peel. It's so pretty. So pretty. Don't worry, we're not done yet. I'm going to do the man gnome. And same thing, just applying the whatever color I'm kind of picking and choosing. I'm trying to do a little less of the rose gold on this one, other than the flowers, because naturally they needed to be rose gold, right? I'm trying to keep all the same colors though as the other one, because they are kind of a set. They're going to kind of be, you know, buddy next to each other. And now I'm doing some of the Dune. Dune is a really pretty color. It's almost like super, super pale yellow, like a little bit like a vanilla yellow, if that makes sense to you. And here is Sage. If you have eucalyptus, you could easily mix in a little bit of either Dune or white to it to kind of get that same color. If you did not know that, you can mix up your own custom colors with your Chalk Couture stuff. Just make sure you give it, you know, a pretty good stir every time you're going to use it, especially if you make, you know, a big enough batch. You can put it in like a little like Loctite container kind of thing, like any little Tupperware dishes. That's usually what I use if I'm going to make, you know, a good sized batch of it. Same thing we're doing pretty much as we did on the last one. And this, I'm using just my little mini squeegee that was cut in two, and then again going back and forth, working from top to bottom on this transfer. And let me tell you, it's such a cute one. I am not normally like a crazy gnome person, but these little things just kind of, I don't know, they kind of stole my heart. Kind of couldn't help it. And like I said before, if you peel it up and it's a little bit too much, you just smooth it back down with your finger. I did have to do that just a couple minutes ago. Maybe not a couple minutes, but a couple seconds ago. Now on this one, I wish on his nose, I wish I had switched back to the dune because he basically looks like he's green. But that's all right though, right? He's a spring garden gnome. Apparently he has a green nose. I don't know. I should have switched back to dune though. Oh well, I'll know for the next time I use it because you can use these guys and get probably, you know, at least, I would say at least 5, but I recently tried out some spray adhesive. I'll share that more with you guys sometime soon, but a spray adhesive that's made for stencils, you can really get away with putting it on the back of your transfer if you've lost the stickiness. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking that sage and I watered it down and I'm making kind of a bit of a stain almost on that little wood crate. And I went ahead and did some of the antique wax on both crates for each one of these little guys. And now what I'm doing is I'm filling in a little bit in the flower. I wanted that center part to have a little bit more of the dune. Totally optional. You don't have to do this. I just thought it was a cute little detail to add. And now, shocking, I know, I'm going to add some antique wax just because it felt like it needed to look a little dirty. I don't know. They're garden gnomes, right? They have dirt. They get dirty. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It seemed like a good idea at the time, and I'm still loving the way it looks. So I'm taking just basically a little chip brush. That little guy came from the Dollar Tree, and I am really focusing in on any areas that are of that more white. It's going to bring out a little more of the wood grain. Well, okay, the quote unquote wood grain. We both know it's not really wood, but that's okay. Nobody else will know that though. No one's gonna know. Have you guys seen that on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever? When they do these little clips, no one's gonna know. And you could say that about this. Maybe I'll make one. Maybe I'll make a little clip about it. No one's gonna know that it isn't really wood. Anyways, I'm gonna do a pretty good coating of this, working it up, kind of building up the coverage to the amount that I want, the amount that I like. And now I'm going to take those little wood crates, sorry, my head keeps getting in the way, and I'm just going to take some Starbond glue, oops, sorry, shaking my camera, some Starbond glue, and I'm going to glue them down. I'm kind of trying to make sure that they're even. I should have been a little more careful about it when I was placing my transfer, but whatever. It's going in my house, so I'm the only one who will really even notice it, to be honest. So, wow, that is me all up in there. I'm sorry. So that is pretty much the end of this project. I think it turned out adorable. You guys will have to let me know what you think down below. If you're excited about all of the new stuff coming out on February 8th, I will, like I said, be going and I'm going to have a video post right at the time that it's going live if you want to check it out. Maybe I'll even make it a little early. Maybe not that much early, just a little bit though. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you have any questions about Chalk Couture or anything, drop a little comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can reach out to me on that Facebook group or Instagram or my email or however, smoke signals, whatever you want to do. I'll see you guys next time.